Videographers deserve $1 billion because it's the most difficult job.
But you know what the fun part is?
What?
Martin Garrix and another DJ called Marshmallow, they were opening a club and he was like, if you do a good video, you've got the job. I just knew that I was going to get this.
What made you start your own company?
That is a sick story.
Go to Brad's LinkedIn, you'll say that he worked at Australia's Supermodel of the Year. What was that? Welcome to Humans of Australia Unfiltered, Brad. How are you today?
I'm feeling great. I'm great. How are you?
I am good. My first question that I always ask a lot of people is, where are you from, Brad?
So, I guess I'm from Camden in Sydney.
Oh, okay.
But I grew up on the Gold Coast, which is probably, you can probably tell from the accent. But I don't really remember a lot about like the time that I grew up in Camden, but yeah, from a young age, we moved up to the Gold Coast and just sun, beach.
What is this boy doing in Melbourne?
Now?
Yeah.
Well, that fast forwards.
That fast forwards a lot. Okay, fine. We'll
17 years.
Okay, fine. Fine. We'll go back to Gold Coast. We'll fast forward. But isn't it too cold for you in Melbourne? Or are you still?
Now?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I actually like winter. Like, I remember when I first came down, because I was working for a production company at the time, and we were kind of coming back and forth from Gold Coast to Melbourne, and I came here in winter at one point, and I was rugged up, and I could feel the cold air from my breath and like fogging up the windscreen and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a nice change. Like,
okay.
Because on the Gold Coast, like, I think it's changed a lot now, but like, it used to just be rain or sunshine.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How did you get into this creative space of videography?
I was actually quite fortunate. So I did media in school. I don't know if you had a media class, but we had a media class. And in that media class, I fell in love with the storytelling aspect of it. And we will get along really well. Well, I mean, I don't know how, like, I don't think I knew it was storytelling at the time. Yep. But I really liked the idea. So I got given a year 10 project and they were like, you know, pick an industry and a topic of what you're going to make it about. And I loved traveling at the time. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do a video about the Gold Coast destinations. Yep. And so I went to different parts. Like looking back on it now, this wasn't different parts of Gold Coast. So
what were the different parts?
It explains the marks I got. But anyway, at the time, I thought it was amazing. One of them was Mount Warning, where I lived, which was a popular tourist destination. Another one was Kiro Beach, which is a popular surf destination. And where else did I go? I went to like a rainforest. You know, I made it like pretty variety packed, but the thing was the actual quality of the video was not as great as what you would think now. Like, I actually had a chance to watch it back maybe a couple of months ago, and I was like, look, this was great for the time that I made it for. Okay,
we're not trying to guess your age, but how many years ago was this?
Well, this would have been in 2012.
Okay, the cameras weren't as good as how...
I used a GoPro for most of it. A GoPro and a Canon, I'd like to say 600D, I think it was that.
Okay, I don't know.
Canon, it was a very beginner basic level camera, and then a GoPro, which these days has great stabilization, but now when I used it, like, the thing was wobbly as hell and you couldn't actually see a lot of the footage. And my transitions from going from the mountain through to the rainforest or whatever it was actually quite creative. My friend came up with it. Was chucking the GoPro, and then the transition was catching the GoPro.
Dude, that's pretty cool. That's like the reels that go on right now.
Yeah, but the problem was there was no stability to the GoPros. So it's just spinning, and it's like a spiral shot, and then it morphs into another spiral shot, and then you catch it. And at one point, like, because you couldn't throw it like properly, you would grab it, and then you would pretend to throw it as if it was the transition, so you had the stability. So it was just all over the place.
You tried.
Yeah, but after I finished that video, I was kind of like, I kind of like making films and like making videos where you tell a story a little bit. So after I left the school, I ended up getting an office job working in a 9-to-5 area, and it was in a freight company. And
how did that happen? From creative to...
I just went for the closest thing that I could have that was money that I could easily get.
Yep.
But on the side of that, I was making videos for Instagram, and like back then it was like kind of popping off, like it was the thing. So I was making like basketball videos or like skating videos.
Were you the cool boy making videos at that point?
I was the friend that had the camera that people didn't really understand why the camera was there. I was in my stage of trying to, so I was still working the 9-to-5 job. And I was in my stage of trying to figure out, okay, do I want to go down this career of 9-to-5 and get the promotions and, you know, work my way up the ladder? Or do I want to follow this creative path that I, you know, seem to really like and I'm gaining followers from? And this guy was like, hey, can you make a gym like hype video? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And so I did that. And again, looking back on it now, I'm kind of like, it's okay. But, you know, for that time, it was sick. Like a lot of people were like, damn, this is really cool. Like, great job.
That was your first push.
First, like, cool video that was collaborated with someone else.
Did you get paid for it?
Nah, it was a free to, what do they call it? Free to view or something? It's like exchanging your services for featuring for them to, there's a terminology
barter
for it.
System, basically. Were you doing like a barter system?
It's like free to feature or something. But
and then you got the gym membership for free?
No, I got like to use his followers. So he had more followers than I.
Oh,
no,
okay, got it.
Did he? No, it was just my barber at the time. And he asked me to do a video for him. And then he knew a bunch of influencers in that space. So yeah, so I made that video and then that went really well. And I met another guy at that gym and he was like, hey, I saw the video you did.
Yep.
Can you make one for me? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So at this time, I'm trading my time for portfolio experience.
Got it. You're building a portfolio.
Yeah, and I started like going through the ranks of just doing collaborations with different fitness influencers and still making my travel videos with my friends. And then from there, I started building up a portfolio. And then I used that portfolio to start pitching different like people on like projects.
Yeah.
And at this stage, I'm still working my 9-to-5 job. And I kind of
How are you managing all of it?
The 9-to-5 job wasn't that challenging.
Okay.
It was like a data admin entry level job.
Okay.
So I had like, I was doing my 9-to-5 work, but I wasn't like trying that hard in that area to like go overtime or anything. So I'd finish at 5 p.m. and then I'd go to the gym on my way home and film for these guys and then go home. And then I'd edit in my off time, like on weekends or something like that, to make the video for them. And then they would put it on their Instagram and push it out to their followers.
Yeah.
And so I kept doing that and I kept landing more jobs and more collabs. And then I got to a crossroads where the company I was working for, to be honest, I wasn't really doing much to deserve a promotion, but I think they just thought I was the logical step. And they were like, hey, we take this guy from entry level to mid-management and push him up the ranks. And so like, hey, look, we want to promote you. And I was talking to a few friends and some people that I was shooting for. And I was like, look, this is not really what I want to do.
Yep.
And they were like, well, you know, why don't you try and make this a future? Like, you're pretty good at it. Like, what if you lean into that and try and make it more of a future? And I was like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And I went back and talked to my mom and said, look, they've given me a promotion. Do I continue with this promotion or do I go the unsafe route? And my mom, being from the era of life that she was from, she was like, no, stick with the job. Like, be safe. Yep. You've got a career path mapped out for you. These guys want to pay for you to get trained and be promoted.
Yep.
And then I saw a YouTube video that said, it was Casey Neistat at the time, and he said, look, if you want to be a film producer and TV producer, go to university and do that.
Okay.
Or if you just want to create videos for the sake of creating videos, take the money you would invest in uni and go and invest it in yourself. So I told him, look, I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to go and pursue this industry that I want to do. I'm creative at it. And I realize I believe that I'll get a job in the industry.
Wow, that is a risky call.
So risky.
So risky because it is the creative space doesn't pay you enough and getting paid for your work in the creative space, is the likelihood is lesser. And you have to build your portfolio. Until there are so many people, I have photographer friends, they just keep on building their portfolio constantly. And where's the end to that? And how do people value you as well? There's a whole questionable thing when it is the creative industry. So how did you manage and navigate all of those things after coming from a stable 9 to 5?
Well, continuing on to that story, the way I got into the industry was I quit that job, and then I was like, oh crap. So like now I have to go and like make this happen. And I told my mum I'd quit. She wasn't happy about it. And she gave me like 2 to 3 weeks, and she was like, if you don't find a job then, you need to go back into the world. Because she believed that I needed a university degree and everything to get into the world. And I did. I went around to all these production companies. I went for internships. I went for things that, you know, I could just get my foot in the door. And most of them were like, hey, look, you're not experienced enough. We don't want to take a punt. But in that 2 to 3 week window, I put my application in for, I think might have been a startup company, but I didn't realize it was one. And they were specializing in sports and fitness. And I didn't have the experience from uni, but I did have the experience on my portfolio. And now knowing the guys that were running the company and being a business owner myself, I understood that he didn't go to uni either, the guy that ran the company. And his team member, he was also a fitness influencer who became a video editor. So they were all kind of self-taught, right? So he was taking a punt on a guy that was self-taught, but he was like, this guy's put the effort in and the time in to be able to learn the craft instead of going off to uni, getting a degree and then trying to do it. So I just found people that were looking for the skill set that I was practicing.
That is so perfect and ideal.
And for anyone who is looking for a job, the best thing you can do is not just send through your CV. You need to send through a cover letter as well, explaining why you're a good fit for the company. I can't tell you how many people I go through that don't do that.
I completely agree. I yet remember this. There's this guy, his name in my team. His name is Satvik Billa. Big shout out to you. When he reached out to me, I put out a post, I'm looking for interns for humans. He sent me a video.
Nice.
It wasn't the best edited video. It was nothing, like just a video of him talking rather than a cover letter. He's just like, sorry, this is not the best quality. I'm just shooting from my laptop. And he gave me a whole explanation. But that felt so personal. Someone took our time to do it. And I got to know more about him. And it's so much better to see someone in person than to read about them.
100%. And you can just get a bit of a read. Like, it's just the people that take more initiative, right?
Exactly. And I was like, I have to get this person on my team. Like, it's without a doubt. Like, the minute I saw that video, I was like, there's no way I can't have them. It'll be my loss. Yeah. You just know that passion and that self-initiative and the drive is like something that is actually going to help and push your business, whatever it is you're working with that person with, forward. But yeah, like, I think the thing that really, like, if you're going to learn anything from that, it's just like, if you really want, I say this to a lot of people, especially people going for jobs or who want to get into the industry or even work with clients. Like, oh my God. But yeah, like I always tell people, like when I coach people or anyone who's like, oh, like, you know, I really want to work with this person, or I really want to get this job or whatever. I'm like, dude, like, do you know, like, people approach me to work with me like all the time, right? But the people that I take seriously to work with are the people that go the extra mile, because like I already go the extra mile. I'm already a person, like, if clients work with us, like, they don't just get like what they get, right? They get more. Like, amount of people have been like, oh man, like, I was not expecting that, right? That's what I want from people that I hire as well. So like, no, I don't want people to just send me an email and then send me a chat request thing on my website and like try and, you know, target every single platform. Like, if you want to work, like, pitch me something that you would do. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like, if you want to work with that client, like, don't just say, hey, you know, here's the email, here's what, like, literally say what you're going to do for them. Tell them like, hey, like, there are so many videos on Instagram Reels of people who are working with companies. They make the video for the company and they tag it, and then they get everyone in the comments to tag the company. And then I see the company comment on the thing and say, oh my God, yeah, we need to use this.
and then it's like DM us, and they go and work with them. Like they take the self-initiative and they don't take no for an answer. And those are the people that are succeeding and getting through. And I think if I was to relate that to my story, that's just what I did.
That is really amazing. Not to take away the limelight from you because you were the star of today, but my partner, when he was made redundant last year, his contract got over earlier, so kind of redundant. They made 700 people redundant. What he did is he loves editing and video. He's an architect, but he loves creating videos and all of those things. So he created a video of who he is and put it on Instagram or what all he's done. And then he tagged all these architecture firms and people and all of that. Didn't convert to anything, but some people did appreciate it. He got a reference letter from a really big architect, and maybe that helped.
Yeah.
So he did that. He took an extra move. He put it on Instagram as well, everywhere. And I was just like, he was a little skeptical about tagging people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do it.
Yeah.
As if it matters. It's about you bringing out, like, you being in the eyes of everyone.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, then they're not the right people for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's okay to put yourself out there.
Also with personal branding these days, like there are a lot of people just tagging, like if you say something about Gary Vee, then they'll tag Gary Vee and say, like just to get his attention. Do you know what I mean? Like it's about attention. The person with the most attention wins.
Yeah.
But to take that another step further, like I don't know the architecture industry that well, but I would be personally creating architectural whatever videos and pitching to those companies and either tagging them or sending them an email like to get their attention.
He got a job, so he's fine.
Yeah.
But this was the second time. The first time when he did, I know this is totally different, but the first time when this was during COVID, when we were looking for jobs, and he couldn't find, after studying for like 7 years of his life, he couldn't find a job because architecture firms weren't hiring. And imagine after a master's, you don't get a job. Then he stood out with a board outside Southern Cross Station looking for a graduate of architect, hire me. And that's how he got his job that time.
That's sick.
He got featured at ABC and everything.
Did he video that as well? I would have so videoed that.
So he didn't video it. We didn't video at that point. We were like really skeptical. So it was my marketing brain. I'm going to take some credit. I was like, why don't you do it? He's like, he wasn't getting a job. So then I was like, this is the only way. And it's COVID. Yeah. How do you get yourself in front of people?
Yeah.
So then he stood out there. Obviously, it takes a lot of courage. So give him the credit. The last day, because it was 14 days, he stood outside Southern Cross and Flinders Station. It was the last day because people badmouthed. And he was losing his confidence as well. Someone came and clicked a picture of him, uploaded that on LinkedIn. That post went viral on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow.
He didn't even know because Kush wasn't tagged on it.
Yeah.
But because that post went viral, it came on Kush. Kush is my partner.
Yeah.
So it came on my partner's feed. And on that post, there was someone who saw my partner out there. But by the time he came back again, Kush had left. But because that post went viral, that person found him and he's like, oh, why don't you DM me? I think we have the perfect job for you. And that's how we found his job. Like his
That is a sick story.
And I got featured at ABC and all of those different things.
Have you put that? That's got to be a case study.
That is That's
that is
everywhere
a case study right
if
there.
you Google his name, that thing comes up.
Yeah, but like that's so brilliant. Good job.
Yeah. But
this is so proud.
Yeah, it is crazy. You have to do some crazy things when you have to find a job and pay bills and do everything.
For sure. And it's, again, the person that gets the most attention wins.
Yeah. But I think both of us have lost the plot we were talking about to you.
I love these conversations.
You said that, you got that job at that startup space.
Yeah.
And once you joined, how was it like when you became a part of that space?
Oh, it was amazing. Like my first job, I worked with a company called the Gold Coast Titans.
Sorry, before we go ahead, was this in the 2 to 3 week span that your mom had given you that you got this job?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Yeah.
Killing it.
I went hard. Like I applied for anything I could. Like
okay.
And I went in person, handed my resume. Like I did everything. And
yep.
I didn't in person those guys, but I sent. I think I thought they were my perfect job. Actually, no, I do. I remember sitting there and going through their Instagram and being like, this is my perfect job. I'm perfect for this. So I sent my resume, I sent my cover letter, and then I sent a personal email to the founder I think, and then maybe even Instagram DM as well. And I think
so you stalked them everywhere and you like reached out everywhere.
Yeah, reached out everywhere. Like you gotta, like
Yeah.
you gotta find them at every, especially if you're getting 200 plus. Like I mean, Seek and LinkedIn are cooked right now. Like if you put a job,
you don't get a job from Seek or LinkedIn.
You do from Seek because you got to pay like premium money to put it up, and then like only qualified applicants will get through. LinkedIn's cooked though. You get 400 to 500 people like putting up, like especially creative jobs. Yep. Anyone thinks they can do a creative job these days. So like, it's so hard to filter. But yeah, like I was adamant that was like I'm not a big manifester, but like I literally manifested that job. And yeah, got it within the 2 to 3 week period. I still remember having the big smirk on my face and walking into my mum and going, guess you just got a job. And my mum just like nearly having a stroke and being like,
shit, I should have stayed 1 week.
She was so proud of me. Like for someone, like I always tell the story to, you know, not on the internet, but you know, my mum was pessimistic about me getting that job, but it's just because she came from an era where that wasn't the thing you did, right? And to this day, my mum always says, you know, like that was just what I believed. She wanted me to get it.
I don't blame. Like even like my parents, for a matter of fact, I'm doing my own business, and there's so many times my grandmom, she's like, why don't you get a job? It'll be more stable. I'm like, yeah, but I want to be a billionaire. Getting a job will not make me a billionaire.
It depends on who you work for. There's some very highly paid people who are
I work in the creative
hires.
space. I don't think creative space, and especially social media.
I know personally that Alex Hormozi's videographer is getting a
I'm not a videographer. I see videographers deserve $1 billion because it's the most difficult job.
Well, it depends on who you talk to.
I edit very small videos. If you see your street interviews, I edit them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, very basic. I just learned Premiere Pro, and it's so difficult to do it. And when I see all these movies and even my partner videos that he makes, and I'm like, he's not like the cinematographers, but I'm like, how the hell did these guys make it? And it looks realistic.
Well, it's actually interesting because like when I started in the video editing space, I think I would have been making 40 to 45K a year. And then I got my advertising job working in TV production. And I think I was making about 65K then. Mm-hmm. But like the thing that took me from, and this might be jumping ahead, but like the thing that took me from being just a video editor or just a videographer was actually understanding what goes on in the creative process beyond just creating the video.
Yep.
Like understanding the storytelling, understanding the marketing, understanding the branding, understanding what the customer wants, understanding the audience, understanding the strategy. Like these are all high value skills that you can stack upon. It's called 100%. Skill stacking. But being able to take that knowledge of not just the video, but what's the actual outcome and what are we actually creating, turns you from being the dude that turns the camera on or being the person that edits the video to the actual strategist and the person that like makes the big money. It
is the 360 thing. You can't just look at the video that you make or just like all the different steps. It's all of them that go together that actually produce the results that you want. I completely understand that because as we were having this whole conversation earlier, content is my life, and then I create so much and so many different kinds of content, and I've messed up. I would say that I have messed up and I've made mistakes, but then I've learned as well what to do and what not to do. I might not have the...
But you know what the fun part is?
What?
It's called getting paid to learn.
Depends. Sometimes...
If it's client stuff. Like you always say, I'm sorry, like I stuffed up or whatever.
True.
But if they're paying you for the job and you still produce a great job, but you stuff up along the way, you're actually getting paid to learn.
Yep, true.
Like now that I've become the business owner and now that I've become the visionary and the strategist, I actually more enjoy sitting with clients and pulling the information and the vision and the ideas and then going to my team and being like, can you execute this? Whereas I used to be the person that someone would come to me and say, can you execute this? And I'd be like, yeah, here's the big idea and here's what we're going to do. And here's the cool concept and then here's the video. Yeah. And I'd be so proud of that. But now I jump into the editing and I'm like, oh, this is a lot.
Coming back to you, so when you started working there, and can I ask this? I know we're asking, I want to know more about that supermodel thing.
Oh, okay. So
I really want to know. Just for reference, guys, go to Brad's LinkedIn. You see that he worked at Australia's
Supermodel of the Year.
Yeah, Supermodel of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
So that comes after. So I've gone through the startup agency, the advertising agency, and I worked there for like a couple of months. Really cool. Got a lot of great knowledge and skills from it. Yeah, I got to learn how to do green screen stuff, voiceovers, out of a voiceover booth, advertising, shot from a helicopter. That was
cool shit.
Really cool, yeah. We did a skydiving campaign, and I got to shoot from my crazy ass camera that was like from a helicopter. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was big ass, like you see them in movies and stuff. Like it's dope. Yeah. So
did you work on any movies?
No. I just worked on TV advertising.
Was it ever a thing that you wanted to work on movies?
I did at one point want to get, like, I still do. I want to go behind the scenes of a movie, like a proper set. I can't watch movies and just sit there and watch, like, because I've been behind the scenes so much. I just look at it and I go, how did they shoot that? What did they like? What was the angle they shot here? Did they push in with a dolly? Like, is there like someone here like spraying stuff? Like,
you're that kind of a guy.
Yeah. After that, I got through that age, and then I was like, I want to start to travel. And so I actually I got sponsored for a post on Instagram.
Okay.
Reach out on that this was the worst post you could reach out on. It was me shirtless because I had a man tan sponsorship. Okay. And they wanted me to put up a photo of me shirtless with a man tan on so I could sell bottles. And so I did that. It was like the most Calvin Klein looking, like.
Do you have it on Instagram?
I archived it.
Shit.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it.
I can show you the archive. But yeah, and she commented on it. She said, hey, I sent you a DM. Can you check your DMs? And immediately I knew the working relationship with her was cooked, because who's going to comment on someone shirtless, say, hey, I sent you a DM, go and check. Anyway, she sent me this long ass message, and it was basically saying, hey, I run this company and we're doing a series where, we travel Australia and we document what we're doing with the company, and we'd love you to be one of the cameramen.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, cool. Sounds great. And then we jumped on a call, and I found out it wasn't a paid job, but she was paying for my entire expenses and travel. Again, I was thinking about my portfolio, and I was like, I haven't done this. I haven't traveled Australia. This could be cool.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
And, she probably spent like, I don't know, 20K or something on me, like all around. So like, it was great. And we're still friends today. She actually runs a really successful company. So they're amazing story. They have like 17 stores now over Australia.
What is Mr. Potato?
It's, do you know Spud Bar? Like,
yeah.
It's like that, but
got it.
Like better. Just because like, not better as in like Spud Bar is great, but they change it to be a little bit more like user friendly.
Yep.
And I'd say they target a lot more of the Gen Z, TikTok-y, Instagram sort
as
of
in
vibe.
Mr. Potato or Spud Bar?
Mr. Potato.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so Jess ran that company and reached out to me. And then, she was like, oh, it's all expenses paid. And basically all we need you to do is you're going to film like a TV pilot for us, because she wanted to sell it to, I think it was like MTV at the time, or different outlets. And she wanted to make a pilot for her to be able to sell that to those guys. So I was one of the other cameramen, and we basically just went around Australia and filmed like a docuseries of the whole trip.
Yep.
And would shoot all of their shows as they went around. And it's probably one of the coolest experiences.
What about the Supermodel? It was a part of this.
That's what they were. Australia Supermodel of the Year.
Oh, so were they shooting like supermodel stuff?
So they weren't like, so they were auditioning girls from all around Australia to become technically, like, it wasn't really supermodels, but like models. Okay. And then the finale of the show would be over in Bali. So I was flown to Bali the following year.
What a beautiful job where you're traveling around and then you end in Bali.
Yeah. And so then the finale was over there, and that's where all the girls who had contested and tried out were then getting flown over to Bali, and then they would compete for the title of Supermodel of the Year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And at this age, I was 21.
What? That's the most ideal age to be traveling and meeting beautiful girls, I'm so sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
But again, my mum, being from her area, was like, maybe you should go to film school and study. Maybe
Did you
should
end up
do
going to
this.
film school? No, right?
No.
Yeah.
But I was very close. Like I was looking at the film degree and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting, but it's just not pulling me in. Like it's all film and TV and stuff. Like there's no spontaneity. There's no like.
Can I give like a full honest opinion? I feel universities are a scam. I've said it a million times on this, but scam as in it's great if you're new to an industry and you've no way how to step in, and from engineering someone is going to like the creative space. Okay, great. Maybe a stepping stone to understand what it is. But if you're already in that space, I feel experience can teach you way more than what university can, because university puts a lot of pressure on your pocket as well. And I honestly feel it was a waste of money for me. I don't think university or any of other creative, but if it's an accountant, it's a doctor, it's all of those technical or architect, you need to go to university.
Yeah, 100%.
But for marketing, you learn what I learned. It's useless.
Useless now, yeah. But I will 100% say, like, for me, when I hire someone and I get a CV come through, I don't check it. Like the first thing I do, like when I hire someone and there's like 400 applicants, is I go, cool, here's an email, here's some instructions, follow it. And if you do a good job, you get a second round interview.
Same. When I hire someone, I just overview. I don't even read all those details or anything. I do overview, I'd say that. But my first thing is I message them and I see how the response is. For me, like it's the comms and all of those things. And if they don't...
Or if it's ChatGPT.
I can get to know if it's ChatGPT. Like there are a few things here and I use ChatGPT is my assistant.
If you don't remove M dashes from your freaking emails,
yes.
Oh my God.
I know that is ChatGPT. And it's just like if they can't respond properly, how are they going to be a cultural fit?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to have like the craziest response that would blow me away, but it just needs to be nice and easy and simple and make your point and stand out if I'm hiring someone.
How do you believe your personal brand, especially on LinkedIn, has shaped the quality of people that come to you, or have helped, like perceive your image in more of like I want to be a part of this movement and what's happening?
I think when my personal brand personally on LinkedIn, I'm very vulnerable. Like I don't mind showing myself, and if people can relate to that and they message me based on that, then I want to work with them. And a lot of people have related to that. It's helped me get closer to people. I feel they see a reflection of me and they see that this person is actually truly what it is. And I can't fake it. Like I know people say fake it till you make it. I can't fake it. And then people are like, oh my God, you're an inspiration aspiration. I'm like, what the hell have I done to be an inspiration aspiration? I'm just working shit. I'm just trying to be consistent every day.
Yeah.
That's my thing. But for me, personal branding is just putting yourself out there every day. It's all about consistency. And if you do put yourself out, plus you also need to be involved in other people's branding.
Yeah.
Personal branding is not just showcasing your brand, but is also... As we were talking about it, people love talking about themselves. And if you give them a shoulder, you're not giving them a shoulder, you're commenting basically. So they feel heard by you. And they're like, okay, who's this person? I think I did read this about her. They'll be more involved.
There's an Instagram story that's pinned on my profile. It's like 6 minutes long. And I've been debating on whether to upload it to LinkedIn. And one of my mentors, he is a financially motivated. And I showed him the video and he was like, I like the story. I don't like how vulnerable you are about it. Like if you're trying to target like...
Is it on your Instagram?
It's on my Instagram, yeah. It's a great video. Like we got 15 high quality leads from it. It was great. But it's very emotional and goes into my story. And he's like, for LinkedIn, I don't think it's like that. I'm like, dude, LinkedIn's changing. Like people aren't just posting about business anymore. Like it's storytelling.
Right now, on the trend on LinkedIn is all personal branding and vulnerability.
Yeah.
And people want to know that you failed. Or I had this podcast and I always say this, that fear or failure sells.
Yeah, for sure.
People want to relate. People want to feel a sense of belonging when they hear something or they read something. And if you share just your successes, everyone's not successful, but more people have failed or more people have fears. Like even the smallest of like feeling judgment or wearing something or starting something or being in front of the camera, people are scared. And thousands would be more scared to be in front of the camera than people being in front of the camera.
And I feel like I engulfed myself in that world so much that I believed it. And that the harder I lent into that thing, the more it became a reality. And just things like, I cannot tell you that Seeker advertisement came at the right time, because I wasn't checking Seek. Okay. I just opened it up and typed in videographer, and that job role was there.
Wow.
At the right time, at the right place.
You manifested before manifestation was a thing.
Before it was a thing, yeah.
Was it too much pressure on you, like because you already manifested these things, or you already said these things out, but you weren't those?
But I wasn't there.
Yeah. Was it a lot of pressure, or how did you take it?
I never looked at it like I was lying. Like I know deep down I thought I was like, oh, I'm lying about this. But I never looked at it like, oh my God, I have this pressure and I need to get there. I was like, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
I just knew, like instinctively, I just knew that I was going to get there. I was in a world where I wanted to escape. Like I was in a 9-to-5 job, and I saw creative videos and things that I was doing on the side as my outlet of being able to express myself. I was very, very fortunate to have been guided in the right direction and have the right people around me to be able to start to get to the places that I wanted to be, or get into how I crafted my life and the things that I wanted to do. And so when someone is lost, I'll guide them if I can, because I'm like, when I was coming up through, there were a lot of people who looked at what I did and they were like, he'll figure it out. It's all right. He'll get there. Like, Why do I need to reach out and do it? Whereas if I see someone heading into a brick wall, I'll give them the U-turn they need to go back.
It'd be so much more helpful if someone can. You should.
Yeah. And it feels really good to be a small part in that.
It does. And also for the audience to know, Brad and I actually don't know each other. It was just recent, very, very recently, I think in the last month, where I think we connected on LinkedIn. I don't remember who messaged whom.
I think I left something on a comment on your page.
You left a comment on my page or something, and then from there is where Brad and I went, and then I just messaged him. I'm like, hey, do you want to come on? I would love to invite you as a guest to my podcast. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And then in a week, he's here.
Yeah.
So it only happened because I think Brad is active on LinkedIn and I am active on LinkedIn. And he chose to comment on a post that I put. If you didn't do that and I didn't post, it wouldn't happen. So you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually want to come to what made you start your own company? That is the major question that I want to know.
Well, so fast forwarding from the travel/production job, we end up in Melbourne. COVID hits. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay.
Oh, how was it with production houses?
Everything shut. The smartest ones, which this is why they're the smart ones and they make a lot of money, pivoted and immediately went to health and safety. We didn't think of that at all. We had one client that did that, and funny enough, they were the company that provided the cleaning solution for all of the airplanes, most of the airplanes for COVID-19.
Okay.
And so, we got them as a client, but they weren't ongoing clients. So we pretty much the company, and the founder at the time, he went to go save his own company. So he was pretty much like, hey, you try and save this. Yeah. And I couldn't. But luckily, he managed to keep me on and keep me in JobKeeper at the time. But, after a certain couple of months, when everything was locked down, you're working from home, I kind of got bored and I was like, look, this isn't challenging me. And at the time, I was in talks with a few different production companies and different influencers.
Yep.
Business owners that were influencers. And it was a toss-up between going with Sabri Subi, who owns King Kong, and he's a Shark Tank investor, and another guy called Aaron Sansoni, who owns a company called Aaron Sansoni Group.
Yep.
And he is one of the top entrepreneurs in Australia for business coaching, teaching people how to build multiple income streams. And I had a chat with both of them, and the vision that I had painted Aaron. So the thing with Aaron, and this is why my business today exists, is I saw what he was doing, and I could see how impactful it was, and I had done it with different clients before.
Yes.
But his visibility online was next to nothing. He used to get a lot of his business through sales calls or people coming to events and referring. And he would do these large scale conferences and get people coming. But he was really well known from word of mouth or from results. But from the social media side of things, not so much.
True.
So I pitched him this whole plan. I was like, look, he had 10,000 followers at the time and no press, no nothing. Didn't have much going on the other social networks. No real LinkedIn presence either. And I pitched him, I said, look, this is what I want to do with your brand. I want to turn it into a brand ecosystem. And he goes, well, what does that look like? And I said, look, you see what Gary Vee is doing at the moment? I'm going to make you Gary Vee for Australia. And he goes, if you can do that, then you're hired. And within a year and a half, I took his business, his online presence from I think it was 10,000 followers, over 1 million followers on Instagram. He's featured in Forbes magazine,
wow.
Entrepreneur magazine. And
he's pretty famous.
He's pretty famous, yeah. And, pretty much his presence. So I believe a lot of their students and leads come from his social media and the marketing advertising that they do. But the thing I'm most proud of is, one, his personal brand, I think, makes him over $1 million a year now. But the other thing is that his whole marketing brand department. So I took that from he had 1 team member in there, and then he had 10 team members in the marketing brand department. But I turned that into a plug and play system. So when I left that business, I slotted a 21-year-old kid into my role at the time. And I don't know if he still runs it, but it's just a machine that moves now. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur. I never saw myself as what I'm doing today. But I always knew that I wanted to do something.
Okay. And did you start it by yourself, or did you start it with someone?
Started by myself. I always knew that I wanted to. The funny thing about it is that I was always doing personal branding. With Aaron, I did personal branding, but I didn't really know it was personal branding. You would know this. Personal branding has become a buzzword in the past, I'd say 2 years maybe. But it's been around for ages, a decade basically. My mentor, he's been doing it for, I would say, almost a decade, and it wasn't called personal branding back then. It was just content creation.
That's a really nice story, and I'm glad you found your thing. And as I mentioned earlier, it's so difficult at first find what you love. But you found what you love and you're just enjoying creating more and more of it. And now you're helping others create it as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you one thing. You said that you started this legacy brand. What legacy are you trying to create? What legacy do you want to create?
That's a good question. When I talk to people who are really good at what they do and they don't have a personal brand, take personal branding out of it, just sharing their message, or they consistently rely on cold calling, or they consistently rely on referrals or word of mouth or whatever. And then, I tell them, oh, hey, look, I put a video out that was 6 minutes long, and, it talks about the ups and downs of my journey, but it also talks about the crazy ride that I'm on now. And I got 15 high quality leads from it. And they're like, oh, okay. Why? Why did that work? I'm like, because people, one, they relate, and two, they also sometimes they don't know what you're trying to do. One video sometimes isn't enough. Showing up consistently and telling people hey, this is my message, but this is my message in 50 different ways. One of those is going to hit. That's why mentors and coaches are so popular, because it doesn't matter about the format. It's always the same format, right? But it's how the person delivers it or the message that they give, right? So for me, it makes me really happy to see a story like that, where it's this person is about to lose their home.
You changed that person's life.
Yeah. And now, they bought 2 homes
oh, wow.
because of that, right?
So, the second home on your name.
I don't need material objects. I just need like,
reference.
Just like that in itself, right? That's what I'm trying to do. Just like help people understand that like it's not about the brand, and it's not about the influence or whatever. It's literally about how many lives can you change with your product or service, right? Like if you genuinely know that the thing that you do can change someone else's life, that person's life that you change can also change that person's life.
The ripple effect that you were talking about.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's cool to know. Like, so for me, it's more about like, how can I help more people know that? Yeah. How can I help more people understand that like their message is meant for more than just that one way they're doing it?
Do you think Australia is behind in the social media game compared to the rest of the world?
Good question. Australia's behind in the entrepreneur game.
Yes.
And if you were to translate entrepreneur into social media, like in terms of entrepreneurs showing up, yes, 100%. Like US is full of them. It's not about how many followers you have. It's about the quality of the content and the results that you can get. If you can tell someone that you can sell a 350K, if you can have a 350K launch and like someone with 3,000 followers is probably not going to do a 350K launch, but he had 200 students in his program, right? And they're all paying like $3,500 per person, right? Mm-hmm. That 3,000 follower person, well, they only need 50 people selling a similar product, right? So it's like, it's not about how many followers you have.
It's about quality, value.
Quality and the value, right?
Yeah. I think it's the value prop that makes the whole difference.
Yeah, it also depends on what the content is. Like, why is one dude charging 700 and one dude charging 4,000, right? Like, what is the quality of the content they're providing? It's the same as when we go back to my freelance days. Why was I charging $500 for a video instead of $5,000? What do we charge now? $5,000. Yeah. Why? Well, it's not because I'm like, oh, you can't sell that for $500 or $5,000. We charge $5,000 because, well, it depends on what the actual content is, but it's like you're getting my strategy and direction. You're getting like 10 years worth of knowledge into that one product. You're also getting, a team behind you. You're not just getting a freelancer who's rocking up with a camera, who's doing X, Y, Z, right? And so it's like, what's the value that you're bringing to that project for you to be able to charge that amount? Like the 40K guy, he might be undercharging. And the 4,000 dude might be overcharging. Yeah. Like, you actually got to figure out, well, what am I actually getting for this? And then,
it's the value proposition.
What are the results?
Matters.
Yeah.
So there's a brand, okay, that when in my a little bit initial start days, I obviously undercharged, but I was like, oh my god, wow, brand deal and it was a big.
Was this a recent post?
Yeah, this is a recent post.
I was actually going to comment on this.
What happened after that?
Yeah.
So I charged them less money. Like I charged them less money, but it was a long time deal.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, wow, big money. My accounts are full, and I wasn't getting paid. Like I'll be very honest, but this was the big money that came in. And after that, the contract was getting over, so I wanted to extend the contract. So I spoke to them. I'm like, hey guys, my value has changed from then to now, and I would like to renegotiate. And in the market, my value is something else. The post was like, should I and they were like, oh, if it's that price, we can't do it. Like, shit, I don't want to lose like a client who showed me trust and all of it. And I literally cut my price to half. Mm-hmm. It was my fault. That is totally my wrong intent. Though it was a 75% hike from the initial price that they were paying per content that I was making. But then I was like, fine, whatever, let's do it. But then I went back home and I was like, it doesn't pay for my time. It doesn't, the value that I provide. It's on a brand called Humans of Australia. It's not just any brand that you're going to be on. Plus, it takes a lot of time. Editing people in a row. And then I call that person. I'm like, hey, you know what? I just thought of it. This is the follow-up after the post I did. I'm like, I'll have an honest conversation.
Yeah.
I call this guy and I'm like, I don't think the money that I quoted you is I can do it. It's not the value. Because then eventually in the future, if I go ahead and then if we have to work again, I'll increase my price, which wouldn't be fair. I want to come to a price which is fair for you. And I'll make sure that I will, remain at a price, even though my price changes for the rest of the world. But this is something that should be there. And it would be fair value for both of us. I hated when that person said that, oh, you know what, we could have done this, from anyone could have made this, but because you came to us, so we thought we'll do it with you, even though you wouldn't, you said an increase, it was an 85% increase. So I was thinking of saying no, but I was like, it's fine, let's just do it. I actually can get this for free. And as I was like, I don't want to ruin a relationship here. So I was like, you know what, I will. And I called my dad before this. He's a businessman. He's like, never money things. Never say no. Just say request. And then you make your call later on. So I'm like, I'm just going to request you for whatever decision this is. But it's your call. Let me also think about it. You also think about it. And then we'll catch up again and have a conversation. After that call ended, I was so furious.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how can you just like devalued whatever I did. That means what I produced for you is zero value.
Yeah.
He was like, you were anyway going to produce that content, but now you're getting paid for that content. So take it. So I have made a decision of like letting that client go, even though it's a big amount that's going to come in. It's not life-changing big amount, but it's big. It's a good enough amount.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can't devalue myself and I can't work with someone who doesn't value me. If that person would have said it in a different way, or been like, anything else, but he just devalued me. What do you think? Do you think I'm making the right call? What would your suggestion or advice be?
It would be circumstantial. So like we have some clients that work with us who, they're just getting in videography or whatever, right? Let's say that you're in a similar situation to me when I was first starting out, right? I'm doing videos for free for portfolio work, right?
I'm done with that free.
That's what I'm saying, right? So like, I'm just trying to give circumstantial advice to anyone who's in different positions, right? Yeah. So if you're in a path where you're trying to still build your career and you're trying to build your brand, you're trying to, like, that person, that client, is going to be able, you're going to be able to use their stuff to sell more stuff. Somehow it's going to be a beneficial, even though they're a pain in the ass client. I would take the loss. I would take the L, right? And I would just take the money, get the results, and then use those results to sell more, right? But if you're at a stage now where you're like, look, it would be great to work with you long term, but you're not worth the time, then like, one, I'd be repositioning your value. If a client said to me, look, we really want to work with you, but we could get anyone to do this, I always make sure, and I don't know if you've already done this with a client and they've just been ungrateful, I always make sure that anyone I work with walks away being like, holy shit, they gave me way more valuable information than what I expected to, right? Every single one of our clients will rave that we are 110% invested and we are a partnership of their brand. So like, for example, one of our clients, we did their personal branding and business branding. And then I saw a gap in what they were doing with education in their internal department. So we built an online platform for them to train their internal staff. And I did that at a cost price compared to what like we would charge any of our external clients, because I valued that ongoing relationship. They're a 3-year client. 3 years, because I always add value to everything we do. When it comes time for a renegotiation or anything, and anybody who spits anything back in my face and they're like, look, we could get anyone to do this. I'd be like, yeah, cool, you could. But like, have you seen what we've been able to do with your brand from when you first started? Did you think that you would be here where you are now? And they'd be like, oh no, probably not. I'm like, look, you can go get someone else to do this. Like, I've had talks with that client over the 3 years, and they were like, oh, we could hire another person to potentially do this. Like, maybe we don't really need to have you guys. I was like, yeah, cool, you could. Or you could have 5 people for the price of 1. And they're like, oh, true. We didn't really look at it that way. I'm like, yeah, that's what we bring.
Anything else that you would like to tell us about the creative space or about?
Yeah, we just secured a new office space, which will be in Richmond. So we're based in Richmond. And we're fitting that out with a content space, which will be hybrid.
What is this content space? I had read about it and I was really curious to know.
So it will be a hybrid way. So we have a lot of clients that want us to create courses for them. Mm-hmm. And we were sick and tired of hiring studios or, meeting rooms or whatever it was. So it was like, how can we create a space where, our clients just have a space you can't necessarily change it, but you can change the lighting, you can change how you present it, whatever, and just have a dedicated space. So setup time is not as bad for us. We don't have to play around with lighting, and we just and they can just roll in and shoot and then roll out. But not only that, we're going to have a podcast space as well. So we wanted to be able to make it accessible. So we're still working it out, but I think the biggest thing is we want people to be able to create without there being a limit. So I think most spaces, they charge $350 or something an hour to be able to use it. We want to do $150 to $200 just to be able to use it. So it's just accessible, but also covers the time that's invested, because when you record, it will be a done for you service. So do it yourself service. So there'll be 3 cameras. You roll in with your SD card, you press record, you sit there, you roll for however long you want. And then you grab the SD cards, you go and do your thing, right? And then we'll have another service where it's a done for you service, where, you pay the premium service and you get your whole podcast cut up, and then you get everything delivered to you after.
And you edit it as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that'll be Clipstart Studios. And then we'll also we have production packages for personal branding where our clients, they pay retainers and they get, X amount of videos per quarter or whatever it is. And then, they can set up in that studio and just bang it out. So instead of having to hire studios and stuff like that, was be able to immediately have clients coming in, coming out, getting their content immediately. But also our clients will be able to use the space for podcasts as well.
So this is only for clients?
No, the Clipstart Studios will be public, but the client stuff, if you want the personal branding stuff, then you do it with Clipstart.
Okay. And is it live yet? Can people start using
No, we'll be open probably close to, I'd probably guess around July.
Okay.
So financial year. But we will have something live mid next month, which I'm really excited for. I've been working on this for so long.
What is it called?
So it's called The 7 Steps to Leap from Invisible to Influential. And it's got a bunch of different chapters in it, which will take you from, not knowing anything about personal branding.
It's the guidebook.
It's
free. That's the best part.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's free.
Yeah. Well, again, it's my way of being able to give. I wanted something, because of the ecosystem we're building, I wanted something so that whether you obviously it's targeted. So it does say for busy entrepreneurs who are making 100K to 1 mil, mainly because we want to show that look, here's all the information you need to do it. But if you also don't want to do it, you can work with us. But if you're not at that stage and you're just beginning, you can use all this information and you can actually start to get clarity and start to remove the overwhelm, the stress, the confusion, and start to actually go hey, I actually think I know what I'm doing. And then if they can use that information to start making some momentum and build something, then maybe down the line, they'll go, can we work with you guys? Or can we use your podcast studios? Or can we find a way to work together so that we can take that person who's lost and confused and actually start to help them craft their message.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you so much, Brad. That was so valuable for me. I'm so sure it was valuable for you guys as well. If you guys have any questions to ask, put it down in the comments, and I'm so sure I'll bug Brad to get them. But anyway, before we end,
otherwise just reach out, DM me or whatever. I'm always here for a chat. We're building this ecosystem so that we can help people who are on their journey. So if you have any questions around branding or just building your ecosystem, reach out.
Yeah. And our ritual is to end with rapid fire round. If I like your answers, you get a Humans of Australia hamper, which has an Anchor cookie box and Dropout Chaiwala goodie and Humans of Australia goodies.
Yum.
But I should like them.
Okay.
I like your answers. First question, tea or coffee?
Coffee. I would say tea. This is hard.
This is the easiest question.
I'm an overthinker. This is not good.
Okay, fine. Brisbane or Melbourne?
Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah. Brisbane's got nothing. It's not fun.
You're from Gold Coast. Shit,
Gold Coast.
Still
Melbourne.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I like Melbourne.
If your life was a short film, what would it be? Like, what would the name be?
My life is Brad.
Branded with Brad. I thought you were gonna say that.
No, it's my old Instagram name. My life is Brad.
Oh, my life is Brad. Okay. Yeah. If you were not a videographer, what would you be doing?
Psychologist.
If you could make something for everyone, if you could make something for $1 for 24 hours, what would it be?
Oh yeah, true. Cameras are expensive. Yeah, all right, let's do cameras.
Okay, what's the most overrated thing about Australia?
Imposter syndrome.
Okay, what's the most underrated thing about Australia?
Like social media influencers.
Okay.
Yeah, just people they think they're too good, like being a social media influencer. Like, I get peeved at people who are always out and needing to take flashes and photos and just be in the moment. Like, I get personal branding, but like, I don't know. Sometimes it's taken a bit too far. 3
podcasts that people should listen to.
I don't know that. Oh yeah, dude.
Like, they give names of people, like
Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. Alex Hormozy's one, and Modern Wisdom.
Okay. One place. What's your favorite place that you've traveled to?
Greece.
Oh, okay. One place that you wish to travel to that you haven't been to?
Iceland.
Okay, that's a wrap from our rapid fire round. You're
I did horrible.
But on that, I am gonna say you gave great advice to me, at least, and to our audience out here. So you deserve this hamper. This hamper is completely for you. Thank you so much, Brad, for your time and effort. And thank you so much for watching. And if you're here till the end, don't forget to subscribe.